They say women who delay childbirth are hurting the society, but here's what they ignore. The nations with the most educated women are also the healthiest, wealthiest, and greenest. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be arguing that women's access to higher education, active participation in the workforce, and the trend of delayed childbearing do not significantly harm total population numbers. Instead, these factors enhance population quality and environmental sustainability. We will analyze this from three perspectives: population quantity, population quality, and the environment. So, here's the first question. Do we really need that much population? Here's one research from Harvard. Looking at Sophia Scott's research in Harvard International Review in 2022, the author effectively employs various rhetorical strategies to convey the complex issue of population growth. Ethos is established through references to authoritative sources such as the UN, stating the UN projects that over half of the Earth's population growth in the next 3 decades will occur in the continent of Africa. Logos is prominent, with historical population data presented. In the 1800s, Earth had approximately 1 billion inhabitants, which rose to 2.3 billion in 1940, then 3.7 billion in 1970, and approximately 7.5 billion today. Along with a detailed explanation of the demographic transition, wild pathos are subtly used. The mention of potential outcomes of overpopulation like famine, disease, epidemics, war aims to evoke concern. In a sense, we do not need such a large population, as overpopulation strains finite resources, leading to overcrowding, poor living conditions, and unequal distribution. A smaller population would enable more sustainability, use of resources, and enhance overall quality of life. Here's a video from Hans Rosling using blocks to show how the population will grow anyways.
And it's here. I will show you the world population, ladies and gentlemen, in the form of foam blocks. One block is 1 billion. One block is 1 billion. And that means that we have 2 billion children in the world. Then we have 2 billion between 15 and 30 years of age. These are rounded numbers. We have 1 billion 30 to 45. We have 1 billion 45 to 60. And then we have my block, 60 years and older. We are here on top. This is the world population today. And you can see that there are 3 billions missing, like here. Only few of them are missing because they have died. Most of them are missing because they were never born. Because back then, you know, before 1980, there were much fewer children born in the world because there were fewer women giving birth to children. So this is what we have today. Now, what will happen in the future? Do you know what happens to old people like me? They die. Yes. There was someone here who works in hospitals. Yeah? So they die. The rest, they grow 15 years older and have 2 billion children. These ones are now old, time to die. And then these ones grow 15 years older and they have 2 billion children. This one die and the rest grow 15 years older and have 2 billion children. And without increasing the number of children, without increasing the length of life, we have 3 billion people more by this big inevitable fill-up of adults, which will happen just when the large young generations grow up. Now, there's one more detail, which is good news for the older ones here, like me, that it's estimated that the old people will live a little longer. So we have to add 1 billion more for the old here on the top. And I'm desperately hoping that I will be part of that group, because then I can live long and read the annual statistic as they come reporting every year. But when I talk to many fine environmental activists, which are really have a good concern about the environment, they very often tell me, we have to stop population growth at 8 billion. When I then talk with them, they don't know that we have reached peak child. And then they are completely unaware that most of the remaining population growth is an inevitable fill-up of adults. So we will end up with more or less this amount of people.
Now, let's look at our second perspective. The educated women change population quality. Let's look at an article posted by the World Bank. The author effectively utilizes rhetorical devices such as ethos, logos, and pathos to illustrate the positive impact of women's education on society. Ethos is established by relying on the World Bank, a highly authoritative institution, stating that the World Bank is the largest financing development partner in education globally, gives weight to the discussion on the importance of women education, as it positions the argument within a credible framework. Logos is mainly employed through the use of data and facts. For instance, citing a 2018 World Bank study that reveals the substantial economic losses countries face, amounting between US $15 trillion and $30 trillion in the lost lifetime productivity and earning due to limited educational opportunity for girls. The Stock economic analysis logically demonstrates the negative consequences of inadequate female education, and, by extension, the positive economic impact of its improvements. Additionally, the mention of the potential for African countries to unlock an additional US $2.5 trillion by 2040 through better girls' education further solidifies this economic argument. While pathos is less obvious in this article, it is used when describing how better educated women are more knowledgeable about nutrition and healthcare, leading to the healthier children. This description evokes an emotional reflection, making readers more inclined to support women's education for the creation of a more harmonious and prosperous society. Overall, women's education is shown to be crucial for economic growth, social development, and the pursuit of a more equitable and stable global community. In addition, a video from Dora Ismaili in TED Talk used facts and numbers to show how educated women are beneficial to their children.
It has been acknowledged by many governments and organizations that by reducing gender inequalities, we could be combating much bigger issues such as poverty. Some studies have found that as a result of achieving gender equality for the education of women and young girls, there will be an enhancement of productivity and economic growth. Additionally, women obtaining knowledge in health has aided in decreasing infant mortality rates. Children who are born to educated mothers are 50% more likely to survive past the age of 5. The global increase in women's education has prevented more than 4 million child deaths.
Now moving on to our third perspective. Female education benefits our planet. An article posted on CNN written by Alan Weisman conveys a message that women education is crucial to the environment. The author effectively uses ethos and logos to underscore how women's education and employment can mitigate environmental degradation. To establish credibility, the text references the World Resources Institution, stating that to stay on the safe side of a 2 degrees Celsius increase, we'd have to go back to the amount we were expelling in 1990 and then cut that in half. Citing a paper by expert Nathan Myhrvold and Ken Calderia, further bolsters the argument's authority. Logically, the author represents compelling data. U.S. drivers emit 6 tons of carbon dioxide annually, and with over 1 billion cars globally, emissions are mind-boggling. This data directly connects population size to environmental impact, arguing that fewer people mean reduced consumption and emissions. An educated woman, as noted, wants 2 children or fewer, creating a clearer causal link between female education, smaller family sizes, and lower environmental restraint. He also stated that providing access to contraception and educating women may be the fastest path to giving our planet a break. Critics claim that women delaying children birth and prioritizing education and careers threaten population stability. Later motherhood lowers fertility, causing labor shortages and economic stagnation, as seen in Japan and South Korea. Opponents also argue that quality over quantity ignores the need for a large workforce, and that environmental benefits of smaller populations are exaggerated. While population decline concerns are valid, advanced economies rely on innovation, not just labor, making women's education key for economic strength. Tech can offset labor shortages. Educated women tend to adopt sustainable habits, reducing environmental impacts. Policies like parental leave can help balance careers and childbearing, ensuring women's advancement supports long-term social health without sacrificing stability. Let's embrace policies that empower women to pursue education and careers while balancing family life, fostering a future where gender equality and population sustainability thrive hand in hand.